Welcome to a new series where we take tech on the road, explore a travel destination, and test the gear out in real life. This is Field Tested. Hey folks, today I've got something really special to introduce and test out for you. It's the 500mm F4 FLE lens from Nikon. Now, it would be ridiculous to test out a lens like this in studio or just going to the park to take some headshots. This is a kind of lens that you might use for sports, but more likely you're going to be using it for wildlife, birds, safari, that kind of thing. So I've come to Africa, to Namibia, to test this guy out. Okay, so of course I haven't come to Africa just to test this lens out. I'm running a tour here in Namibia, reached out to my friends at Lens Pro to Go to see if I could get a super tele to bring along to shoot with my D5 primarily. So far I can say I've been loving it and the images are really turning out great. Stay tuned, there's going to be loads of images, loads of different tests and loads of epic footage as we show you around Namibia as well. Hey folks, make sure you check out our sponsors and show them some love. We get all our music from Soundstripe. They just relaunched their website and it's looking great. We color our videos with LUTs from lutify.me, and we rented this 500mm beast from Lens Pro to Go. Check out all their links in the caption below. Just a quick intro on this one if you don't know about it. This is, it's one of their biggest lenses. The Nikon make a 400 2.8, a 500 f4, 600 f4, and an 800 f5.6. This is the latest version, replacing the G version. Obviously, it's still a 500 f4, but the main difference in this one, well, there's a couple. The drop-in filter is slightly smaller. The closest focus is 10% closer, and it's 20% lighter. They did that, even though this now has 14 elements compared to the old one having 12. Two of the biggest ones in this are made of fluorite, which is much lighter, and it means that it isn't front heavy. And trust me, that 20% makes a difference. I've been shooting this 90% or 99% handheld without a monopod or anything. That's just how I prefer to shoot, and it's working out really, really nicely. Namibia is a traveler's paradise, and for photographers it offers so much. The amazing red sands of the Namib Desert, the wide and expansive plains, a beautiful lengthy coastline, as well as more wildlife than you can poke a stick at. Namibia is relatively politically stable and safe to travel around, apart from all of the big wild animals. Tourism is well regulated and well set up, and the standard of accommodations is really great. This isn't the second tour I'm leading to Namibia, and I can't wait to put the 500mm lens through its paces. Drone footage like this already looks so epic thanks to the vantage point, but you can see once we throw on the LUTs we get from lutify.me, it really comes to life. Inside the room is glorious, it's so nice. And again, this time on the windowsill, a little friend. If you don't like nature, this wouldn't be the place for you. But I just love it. Namibia is a wildlife lover's dream. Amazing bird life, of course, zebras and reptiles and all the different antelopes you can possibly imagine. They absolutely thrive in Namibia, and you literally see thousands of them and giraffes throughout your time in the country. The first time you see a big game animal on any trip, it takes your breath away. And as great as rhinos and wildebeest and lions are, for me there's something so beautiful about the giraffes. The first time you interact with elephants in the wild is really special. Their size is just overwhelming. The females can be the size of a large car, but then some of the male bull elephants are much bigger than the biggest four-wheel drive. Our experienced drivers know when to stop, when to back up, and when to get moving, and the opportunity to have them just wander past your car is truly something special. Now, there's so many different beautiful birds in Namibia, ranging from small little lilac-breasted roller birds through to big birds of prey, and they are home to several different types of vultures. These particular ones are enormous. It's hard to get an idea of their scale when they're in a group, but they can easily weigh up to 30 pounds, and considering they're mostly feathers, that's heavy. And the wingspan of an adult can be a full 10 foot across. It's not until you see one taking off you really see just how huge they really are. The skeleton coast off Namibia is famous for a couple of things, including the fact it's been home to several famous shipwrecks. There's still some beautiful old ruins there which are now home to seabirds. The other draw card of the coastline is a huge colony of Cape fur seals. Now, these are actually seals, but they have ears like sea lions, and to me they look incredibly cat-like, which means I love them. When we visited, there was probably 10 to 20,000, but at peak time it can swell to several 100,000 of these animals, mating, birthing, going through the rituals. It's an overwhelming feast for the senses. Sound, sight, and an unbearable smell. Now, super teles like this tend to come with a big soft cover rather than your traditional lens cap. In some cases it's annoying, but on safari this kind of thing is perfect because you can slide it on to cover yourself from dust, because if you leave it off... Now, unlike traditional lenses that have a filter on the front, these super teles have a drop-in filter at the back that's quite small but still has the same effect. It comes with a clear one, but I also ordered this CPL to take along, which is pretty great design. It actually has a dial on the top so you can rotate it and rotate the circular polarizer so you still get its full function whilst it's inside the lens. Now, no doubt this is a big lens. Even compared to the 200 f2 it dwarfs it, but once you add on the hood, it really starts to look like something that NASA would use to observe the stars. And actually, that's not a bad idea. I did do some shooting of the moon with this bad boy. I chose to bring it along in the awesome Think Tank glass limo bag. Custom made for huge 500 and 600mm lenses, but with heaps of extra pockets to carry extra things like optional polarizing filters and the like. The Himba tribe are a traditional community living in the northern part of Namibia in the Kunene region nearby the river. One striking thing about this community is that the women never bathe after they're born all the way through their life, except for after giving birth to their own children. They just don't shower. Instead, they rub the red clay from the nearby area on their skin, and it gives them a beautiful red glow, and amazingly, they don't smell and they don't get any skin infections. It's really interesting culture. The Himba village leader will often take multiple wives, like in the community we visited, and to a Western eye, some of their traditions are quite striking. I came upon the matriarch of the community who had borne several children for the village elder, and once she was applying the red paint to her skin, and she was sitting cross-legged with an urn between her legs which was burning incense. She said it's to keep herself smelling womanly in case her husband comes home from herding cattle and he wants to procreate. The kids of the village were so gorgeous and curious with all of our equipment. Whenever we visit this kind of a community, we don't pay cash. Instead, we take supplies like rice and essentials that they need for their livelihood as our way of thanking them for inviting us into their community. Okay folks, so the sun is literally setting here in Namibia. In the background is Etosha National Park. It's the second last day of our tour, and I just wanted to share some concluding thoughts on using this lens. It's been really outstanding. I'm blown away how such low turnover items like these
can just perform so incredibly well. You've got focus that just beats anything else. Other than my 200 f2, I don't think I've ever had something that was so precise and so fast and so, you know, reliably accurate once I had calibrated it. And, you know, the colors are fantastic, the sharpness, the contrast, everything is just working fantastic. By itself, it's astonishing. Definitely one of the best lenses I've ever used in terms of final image quality. Even using the 2x teleconverter that gets me up to 1000mm f8 and these do degrade your image, it's still looking fantastic. So overall, I really can't fault it, other than, just for size reference, that's the Tamron 70-200. So it gives you an idea of how much bigger this guy is. Having said that, the weight is really manageable. I was using one of my guests' 800mm f5.6 FL lenses with the 1.25 converter, which again gets you to 1000mm, and the stabilization on this seemed to work better, and it's imminently more hand-holdable. So I would definitely go with this one out of the two. But to know which one's going to suit you, you really need to travel, test them out on location. So would a 4, 5, 6, or 800 work best in your scenario? You really need to test it out. So that's kind of the takeaway for me. This has worked fantastically well, but at the price that this costs, using it once a year for safari, renting it is a much better proposition. So thanks to my friends at Lens Pro To Go for loaning this one to me for the test. And let me know your thoughts. Are you using a Super Tele? Which one are you thinking of investing in? Thank you also to Soundstripe and Alutify for their sponsorship of this series. I hope the series is looking and sounding great and you can really see where that sponsorship is going. Thank you all, and I'll see you soon in the next episode where we're taking gear to test in real life.